Hi, my name is Michael Collins, and I'm part of the English faculty at Northern Arizona University. Today we're speaking with people who do technical and professional writing as part of their profession, and we're trying to get to some ideas about what it takes to be a professional technical writer and see if this possibility might work for you as a career field. I'd like to introduce Robert Finch first. Robert works for Gore. And Robert, welcome to Northern Arizona University. Can you speak a little bit about your career path and your education? For example, how did you get to this point?
My career path, well, you know, the economy's not so good, and so I feel very fortunate for how things happened. And I think it's very common for technical writers, I'll say this up front, to be contractors. Probably more common than full-time roles within companies. Now that happens often as well. So I started as a contractor for Gore, and sort of it's one of those things where it's like your trial period, I guess, however you want to put it, where you show them what your skill sets are, they see if you're a good match for the organization. Well, that's what my track was, and so after 7 or 8 months, I was brought on full-time. And so it was a long process. It was sort of an elongated sort of vetting process, I guess. But that's really what happened. I was contacted by a professor who had been contacted by Gore, and there it was.
What are some of the best parts about your job?
The best part of this job is, I think, there's this period when you're first taking on a new project, when it's exhilarating and it's uncomfortable at the same time, just enough to keep you on your toes, and you're learning new things. Very quickly you have to synthesize concepts rapidly. You have to talk to people, you have to meet people, you have to be able to understand multiple points of view, put that all into a document that tells software developers, well, here's what they want. Now, there's some give and take, there's some back and forth, but that's the fun part, I think. That's the most fun.
Conversely, what are some of the worst parts about your job?
The worst part, I think there are two things for me. There are those documents that are not very much fun to write. They're very I'm detail-oriented, but when you're doing the same task over and over and over again to compile information, that's not that much fun for anyone, I don't think. So that's one part, and that does happen with software documentation. The other part is, because you're dealing with people so much, there are, of course, multiple interests in the same room, and everyone's passionate, and you can be in the middle a little bit, and that's difficult. It's also fun, but there are days when it's not as easy as just writing documents.
What advice would you give someone who's considering entering this line of work?
I would recommend that people who are entering this field keep an open mind, because technical writing can be done in almost any field anymore. I mean, government, medical. I have a friend who works for the FAA. He's an engineer, and they have teams of technical writers. So I think that's one thing. Also, given that there is so much flexibility, it's probably a good idea to, if you have an idea where you would like to do your technical writing, build some coursework around that subject area, which I didn't do. I just sort of, I had the skills for the writing, I learned the rest. I can do that pretty quickly, but if you're not the type of person who can hit the ground running and you know, just figure things out in a hurry, I would recommend gearing your course load towards a certain subject area. Build your technical knowledge. Listen to, what are they called? Sorry. The podcasts. That's what I'm thinking of, podcasts. Listen to podcasts, and a lot of those things roll out of the bigger cities. Like, I think Vancouver's a big technical writing hub, so that can help.
What natural skill sets or personality traits should someone possess to make them successful in this line of work?
I think that a good technical writer obviously has those writing skill sets, is able to put concepts together, is detail-oriented. Those are all things that I believe that the writing program at NAU does enhance. But in addition to that, writing is the physical act of writing. Sitting down and writing documents is not the entire job. You've got to be able to be flexible, to interact with people. You've got to be able to clearly communicate, not just with the written word, but you've got to be able to verbally communicate with different people, to bring their ideas, their concepts all into one place so that everyone can agree. The job, so to answer your question, I would say the ideal technical writer is someone who can understand things quickly, who can process information and communicate that, translate that essentially from one group's language to another. That's part of the job. And you've also got to be able to control your emotions sometimes, because that's something that unfortunately sometimes as the writer you cannot let affect you. So,
what are the opportunities for somebody considering entering this field?
The salary and advancement potential for technical writers, I think, is pretty significant and ever increasing. That's one of the few fields right now, in spite of the downturn in industry, that's actually remained viable as an entry-level path. Generally, I believe the case is that entry-level pays significantly less than the first. Probably once you have a year to 3 years experience, you become level 2, intermediate. It goes up from there, and so there are industry standards. And by the time you get to your 4th or 5th year, somewhere in there, you become senior tech writer. At that point, the salary is very competitive, even with some of the more technologically focused groups within companies. So it is it's a good career path for the monetary aspect of it. It's also good in terms of growth, because it can lead to project management. It can lead to quality systems. It can lead to so many different things, as long as you're willing to invest in the organization or in your role within it and learn different things. And so the sky is really the limit as far as that goes.
Do you have any closing thoughts that you have that you want to share with our audience about what we just discussed, or may help them better understand the points we're trying to make here?
I think that as a technical writer, right now, if you're in the master's program, it's busy, it's very busy, there are deadlines. Within an organization, you need to be able to couple, and I think the program is good for that, couple speed with perfectionism, because obviously there are people who want these documents as quickly as they can get them, but they want them to be high quality as well, so that's probably another trait. So meet that balance between your perfectionism and your speed, your ability to get things out quickly. So I think that's important. So hang in there.